Summit Paggy, Keto here,
and Mio here to tell you that today we have AI,
Saucy Comics,
child labor,
and greed,
as well as a re-upload of our most popular video that YouTube struck down.
You can see our update video for more information, but the long and short of it is that YouTube gave us a community guideline warning for a link that is briefly shown in the original version of this video.
We have attempted multiple times to contact YouTube and get them to help us edit the video and get it back up, but alas, they are less than useless, so we have resorted to re-uploading a censored version.
This video is older and isn't quite up to our current standard, but does a good job of highlighting Cougar Macdowall's descent into degeneracy, and explain the Friday Night Funk and Tabby power struggle and the teenagers involved, and pointing out that comic dub content farms suck. Not all comic dubs, by the way.
Please give this video a like and watch it to the end if you feel so inclined, since YouTube might treat re-uploads as second-class citizens, and we think the info in this video is important. Like for the algo and all that!
Overall, this video should serve as a good precursor to our eventual part 2 video, as comic dubs, and Cougar Macdowall specifically, have in some ways gotten even worse.
We'll also add a few corrections within the video and some new content at the end. But what? You don't know what comic dubs are?
Well, a comic dub is a genre of video in which a curator will take a comic and add voices to it.
This can be one voice actor, two voice actors, or a full cast of voice actors.
The comics can be traditionally released comic books, or, as I think is more common, webcomics.
Sometimes they are motion comics, which add some movement to add some life to the comic panels.
The general idea is to enhance the comics in some way.
Wow, I sure do love comics, and voice acting would certainly add another interesting element to the experience. Let me innocently go search for comic dubs on YouTube, a search engine that should theoretically warn me of any not safe for work content. I sure hope that...
As we can see, there's a bit of a problem. A lot of comic dubs are perfectly fine, though they do range in quality quite a bit. Pretty good Dragon Ball Z webcomic dubs out there. At least I think so. I haven't watched Dragon Ball Z.
These people made these Spider-Man videos without even getting paid for it, which is probably good because I don't know the legality of uploading comics on YouTube. An interesting question for another time.
This dude's channel makes a bunch of Puppy Playtime comic dubs, and look, they added a link to the original comic book. All is well in the world. And then there's everything else that pops up when you search for comic dubs. All is not well in the world.
Hey yo, what the?
Webcomics have some of the most sus thumbnails on YouTube. Often these are just clickbait to get pervs and confuse children to click on them. But many are just slightly censored smut, or uncensored smut, or hentai. NANI?!
Somehow this stuff is getting allowed on YouTube, and not required to be age restricted. The creators could mark them as 18+ if they wanted to, but they actively choose not to.
Take this creator. Johanna? Johanna Pudding. Terrible thumbnails.
Worst content.
Ruining Sonic the Hedgehog. My gosh!
Oh no, that one has tails in it. Stop! No, he's a child!
All characters in this comics are fictional and over 18.
Oh, well, then it's all okay then.
One could say, at least they out there getting their bag. Voice actors and editors need to eat. They gotta get a new Lambo.
Tell them to bring me my money.
No. But you would be wrong.
Most of these content farm channels just use AI to dub their comics so they can keep more of those juicy profits. The AI isn't even very good most of the time, making the quality of the comic dubs bad.
Crap, that thing must be getting closer. Oh, got to act fast. Come on, there's gotta be somewhere to hide. Oh, thank.
Sometimes because either the dubbers or the authors are non-English speaking, the translations are scuffed to say the least.
I will bring here along next time.
Oh, okay. Very suspicious. Just what is Sonic shemming?
Where do they get these comics from? The answer will not shock you.
In general, a lot of these comic dub channels are super scummy little pits of degeneracy, but none has been in as much controversy as the most popular comic dub channel on YouTube, Cougar Macdowall, VA.
Cougar hires voice actors and is one himself, so no AI slop. No. He's too good for that. He still does, other things, though.
Mr. Cougar has been a bit of a controversial figure for about 2 years now, but to fully grasp how his reputation got to where it's at, we're gonna have to start from the very beginning. Roll the film!
We did get some comments asking why we talked about the world of comic dubs before getting to Cougar Macdowall. It's called setting the scene, and this isn't to make Cougar Macdowall look bad, it's to show how bad the comic dub landscape is, and how it would eventually corrupt Mr. Macdowall.
In the beginning,
On December 29th, 2013, a young 14-year-old cougar would upload it. On December 29th, 2013, a young 14-year-old Cougar Macdowall would upload his first video, Spack Voice Reel.
He would continue to do voice auditions for characters from all kinds of franchises, even OCs for the Warriors franchise.
This is a series about cats doing all kinds of stuff.
Yes, the first series was pretty good, all things considered. The second series, not so good. The third series, Power of Three, kinda got...
He kept on doing that for a while, but he would occasionally do, what? Comic dubs? One of the first being a depression comic dub. How depressing. In August 28th, 2016.
He would later get some pretty decent views on his videos Ask Villainous comic dubs in 2017. Specifically, Ask Dr. Fug. Let me make sure I said that correct.
Nope.
Now that comic dubs were getting on average more views than his audition videos, he started making more and more and more. He also released an Old Town Road parody video that, while cringe, was kind of funny.
But then, oh my gosh, he hit the big time. On October 9th, 2019, he released his first Godzilla comic dub. That, as of right now, has over 1 million views.
Couldn't be me. Even more comic dubs came out, and then on November 2nd, 2019, he hit it even bigger, if that was possible, with his Steven Universe videos. Instead of just thousands of views, he would often get hundreds of thousands of views.
For most of 2020, he would alternate between Godzilla and Steven Universe, as well as a few other comics like Daisy Eternal and dinosaur stuff being thrown in occasionally, just to spice things up.
Then, still in 2020, the year that the world ended, he discovered Among Us comics. I guess the views were starting to show signs of dwindling or something, because when the first Among Us comic did well, he attacked that trend kind of ravenously, honestly. I could have said that better.
From 2020 to 2021, he uploaded only Among Us, with the rare Godzilla comic dub only if he remembered that something other than Among Us existed. He was freaking obsessed.
Jumping on trends and milking them for all they're worth soon became
Why did you do that?
Jumping on trends and milking them for all they're worth soon became a very common cougar practice.
Views started going down again. How sad. And he went back to his usual uploads. But then, Minecraft?
For some questionable reason, on April 20... Cougar decided he wanted to dub some rather sus-looking comics by a creator called Mayweather. The comics, from what I can tell, are just horny bait with no other purpose for existing.
Cougar would then start dabbling in some Hell of a Boss and a little bit of Friday Night Funkin', but then out of nowhere he dropped Godzilla and Mothra's sexy beach date Godzilla comic dub. As a Godzilla fan reading that, my soul left my body.
This would mark the true beginning of his villain arc. In 2022, he would continue his Godzilla Mothra series along with his usual content, but now there were some other sus comic books sneaking on into the mix, more often, usually from Mayweather. Pervert.
He would also get more bold with his thumbnails and titles.
Around this time, he would have another person called Jelzyart helping out more frequently with his videos. The videos didn't get that many views until later though, so it makes one wonder, why was he posting out the sus content so much?
Why are you the way that you are?
His other videos, like Godzilla Reacts, are still doing well, so it could be that he's a bit freaky. But that's just a theory. A game theory!
By the way, the Godzilla Reacts videos are just him reacting stuff with a Godzilla puppet. Pretty simple, easy to understand, but a lot more innocent than the other stuff he was pumping out.
And then FNAF came along and he ruined that too.
He would only upload Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach and Friday Night Funkin' for quite a while, though he'd also upload some truly heinous Dungeons & Dragons comics.
Cougar was now fully committed to pumping out not safe for work comic slop. 2023 rolls around, the sussiness has not gotten any better, maybe gotten even worse.
More Has-Been Hotel, more Friday Night Funkin', more of this, more of that.
Oh yes, during all of this, he and Jelzyart collaborated to make an overly sexualized borzoi furry for literally no reason. My mind still struggles to comprehend this madness. Cougar Macdowall, are you okay? I'll answer for you. No!
Basically, there was nothing on his channel that wasn't thirst bait, and the big problem is the franchises he was covering had large audiences of children, and this would become a real big problem for Cougar when he started uploading Poppy Playtime videos.
It's worth mentioning, by the way, that people have discussed Cougar in the past for his behavior, but no matter what, he never changed.
It's 2024, Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 had come out, and everything was going about as same as usual. Find a weird Poppy Playtime comic book to dub, edit the video, and publish. Oh, don't forget forget to get Jelzy Art to make a weird thumbnail for it.
This went on for a while until Cougar would be hit with a career-threatening controversy.
Before we get into that mess, you'll need some background info.
Cougar, for a long time, was a voice actor for a character called Tabby, for Friday Night Funkin' mod called Versus Tabby.
You don't know what Friday Night Funkin' is? Lucky.
Friday Night Funkin' is a rhythm-based game where you enter a sing-song battle against different characters. The music is questionable to say the least. One of the main reasons it's so popular is because it's open source, so people can make their own mods for the game, like adding Sonic, or Mario, or FNAF! I have your attention now, don't I?
Some people get very interested in these mods and cultivate very loyal fan bases. Anyway, someone called Homesky, or however you say that name, created a character called Tabby. I believe that's how you say that name. Cougar voiced the character Tabby for the mod Versus Tabby, and the mod was extremely successful.
Eventually though, Homsky grew tired of making mods or something and retired from the internet, giving 100% ownership of Tabby to Cougar, saying that, if Cougar agreed, Cougar would now be director of the Versus Tabby mod update and would be in charge of getting it done.
But it seems that things didn't go quite as planned, because on March 19th, 2024, at exactly 8:19 a.m., we have receipts, Twitter user by the name of Ascenti would tweet out an expose Google Doc talking about how working on the Versus Tabby mod was a big mess.
That is one big pile of shit.
But then, at 10:05 p.m. of the same day, Cougar released his response to this expose.
And 2 days after that, another Twitter user by the name of .draws released a response to Cougar.
One day after that, someone called RecD released a document talking about how a project he was working on that involved Cougar and why it was being cancelled. Wait, I said that wrong.
Oh, try again.
One day after that, someone called RecD released a document talking about a project he was working on that involved Cougar and why that project was being cancelled.
And on the same day, Homsky released a document detailing how he's taking back Tabby from Cougar, just snatching it back.
So what all happened?
Prepare yourself, the story you're about to hear abbreviates multiple documents. It's a lot, but if you want to check for yourself, all the documents will be linked down below.
Apparently, after Cougar had gotten ownership of the Tabby mod from Homsky, who was a minor at the time, not that that necessarily matters, but, you know, Cougar mentioned it, so whatever, he got someone called the Masked Chris to be the director of the mod, for which Cougar would pay Chris $1,500.
The Masked Chris would later find himself in a separate controversy and would be removed from the team. But Cougar still needed someone to make the mod for him. Then, an individual named Ascenti, you'll recognize that name, popped up and offered to be director of the mod alongside some of their friends.
Cougar thought this idea was pretty neat, and he offered to pay Ascenti's friends too. But what Cougar didn't know is that they were minors.
And a lot of countries have labor laws, by the way.
Now, Cougar takes accountability for this, saying he should have verified some ages, but based on how he describes some stuff later in his response, it sounded like he knew everyone's ages at one point, but chose not to do anything about it. So I don't know exactly when he discovered their ages.
Anyway, Cougar was not very helpful with the mod at all, and the workers were becoming displeased. Ascenti mentions overworking quite a bit, and while I don't want to victim blame or something, I don't think they were being forced to overwork. The only reason that most of them stayed, according to them, was because they all wanted to see the mod get finished.
Back to the tea. It boiled over after Cougar released another Poet Playtime video. Did you get the whole tea pun thing? I hope you did. And Ascenti and some others finally had enough and called out Cougar because, according to them, making aged-up versions of Catnap in sexualized comics is in fact CP. A bit of a stretch, but I can kind of see where they're coming from. For those who don't know, Catnap is from a dead child. It's very confusing.
If this video gets us 5,000 likes, we'll do a complete breakdown of Poppy Playtime lore. Or something, maybe, I don't know. They also mentioned the very good point that this content is directed towards kids, and how Cougar had actually made a deal with someone to stop making such gross content, or Cougar would be kicked from another project he was on called Tabby with Lyrics.
The person who made that deal that was evidently broken by Cougar was RecD, mentioned earlier. Because his name was originally censored in the expose, it made breaking down the story even more complicated than it needed to be. My mind is gone.
So they confronted him on the thumbnails, and Cougar made some pretty not good excuses.
It's not my fault!
And then, after a while, multiple people got fed up and left the project. One of the directors put out a statement about what was going on and why people were leaving. But Cougar had gotten a new director,
Who might be Jelzy Art, we're not sure.
who deleted the original message and replaced it with a more nebulous statement.
But guys, don't worry. Cougar said the original message was not deleted in order to silence people. It was only only deleted for organization and to avoid unnecessary panic, which, if you ask most people, kind of sounds like silencing someone, but okay.
Cougar, in his response, would also add extra screenshots, but they don't really add anything. Also, during this whole drama, Jelzy Art was defending Cougar vehemently. Probs because she kind of relies on him for, you know, a job.
Personal opinion on this segment of the drama. Cougar definitely seemed like he's trying to cover his butt, hence why his response dropped so quickly, and why it was also so very poorly formatted and fluffed up for no reason. More on that later.
Rec D dropped his side of the story about how if Cougar didn't change his ways, he would be kicked off the project. And then Homsky, creator of Tabby, made his super epic return to the internet.
It sure would be nice if it was under better circumstances. Now, Homsky had put traumas and experiences of his own into the Tabby character, according to him. So I'm guessing that seeing Cougar doing such strange, terrible things to the character would be quite disturbing.
Homsky requested that Cougar stop selling merchandise involving Tabby and said that since the mod was basically dead and cancelled at this point, he would just be taking back the character of Tabby.
Cougar refused at first.
Very bold.
But I haven't seen him do anything with Tabby recently, so maybe they finally reached an agreement? I don't know. Side note, the creator Toppy Dreamer actually talked to Cougar about his thumbnails in 2023 before this whole Tabby stuff, and that conversation was interesting.
Dude, you know there's kids on your channel, right? You need to stop doing this, man. This is getting too far.
Dude, my channel is rated for adults only. On top of that, that video is marked 18 by YouTube. I don't control the way others watch. There is YouTube Kids for a reason.
Now, I'm really not sure what he's talking about rating his channel 18 plus, because you can't really do that on YouTube. I thought you'll like specify that in your about page.
No, that's not how YouTube works. When you upload a video, your mark.
As it turns out, the reason Cougar cannot spell is because, allegedly, he is dyslexic. I say allegedly not because I don't believe it per se, so much as I cannot find any information regarding that diagnosis.
Some comments were like,
You can't make fun of disabled people!
Fish, how was I supposed to know? I just thought he couldn't type. It's a common thing.
Anyways, Keto's re-recorded his lines to make sure we don't come across as bullying.
No, that's not how YouTube works. When you upload a video, you mark for kids or not for kids. Once again, I think he's confusing what things in YouTube mean. That or he thinks that Toppy doesn't know what that means?
Maybe he doesn't, I don't know, but that's just not how it works.
Let us show you what it looks like.
See here, we can put kids, not for kids. We mark our things not for kids, not because kids can't watch it, but because kids are not the target audience.
Now, if you want to go like, oh, actually mark it for age restricted, 18 plus kind of thing, you go down here and click this.
But doesn't YouTube not allow NSFW?
Yeah, they do, just not full nudity, and this video was approved by my YouTube manager.
Though, I think your channel gets an awful lot of minors viewing them, so I feel that you can probably at least put something like a content warning. I see them in your comments.
I assume the children. In fact, let's check on that real quick. We got a little carried away reading these comments and got a little lost in the sauce. The main point is to show that some of these are obviously children and that many of Cougar's viewers show discontent with his content. Those comments proving two different points got a little mixed together.
Also, just in case it wasn't clear, Cougar targets a lot of niches containing a large child and teen audience. FNAF, Minecraft, Poppy Playtime, etc. It seems strangely intentional. I'm crying right now because Mommy just wanted Catnap to have a good time but then realized that he wasn't. And then she went to apologize and then Catnap was sleeping on Duck Day's lap. And this whole video was sweet and wholesome.
Catnap wanted to sleep. But Bobby Bear Hug woke him up and now he's in a bad mood. If I was her, I would have left him to be. He probably had trouble sleeping.
Oh, the problems? I don't know, man.
Catnap's so cute. I want petting him too.
I think it's I think it's really good. I need bleach for my eyes. Wait, I'm a robot. I'm going in a fire pit.
Days like these, I miss your Godzilla comics. How horny are you right now, bro?
The thumbnail was enough to make me put bleach in my eyes, but the whole video made me want to go jump the pool of gamma radiation.
Oh, what the frick is this, my guy?
How can bro get lost with a robot? Bro, I'm dead, extra dead, meow, meow, meow.
What did my innocent eyes just watched? The thumbnail. Help, bro, I'm dead.
Well, that was interesting. And back to the conversation. Why can't their parents tell them not to watch this stuff? I'm not in charge of what they watch.
Right, but just to be safe, you could still try a content warning.
So you want me to do extra work and change what I like to make because parents aren't telling their kids what to do and what they should and shouldn't be watching? Now, I forget what fallacy this is in logic, but he's definitely using it. It doesn't take that much work to put a content warning. You just make a template, put it in front of your video. Don't get it twisted, Cougar. It's not that hard.
I was saying, try putting a content warning to ward off kids that could be watching, or something.
It's still changing my videos. I have to put a warning in the beginning now. They should be logged into YouTube Kids if they're not adults.
You do realize every user who doesn't have an account can't be on YouTube Kids, right?
It's really not that big of a change, Cougar. It's just 5 seconds at the beginning of your video. Please, be reasonable.
There could be teens, though, that are under 18.
Then they're old enough to know that they shouldn't be watching it. And that's no longer a kid, that's a teenager, is one point of view.
Oh my word, Cougar. Probably. But even if there's kids using the main YouTube app instead of YouTube Kids, they could still find your videos.
Then that's their parents' job to not let them use that app. My parents didn't let me use YouTube until I was 18. Sorry, let me rephrase. They let me use YouTube, but they were very strict on what I was allowed to watch, and I followed their rules.
Cougar does indeed make some good points here that parents should be monitoring what their children watch. That said, even if you're just hanging around the normal sides of YouTube, Cougar's videos will still pop up in the suggested videos sometimes. And it's his thumbnails that are part of the problem. But there could still be kids that don't have those kind of parents, so it'd be best to add a content warning, you know what I mean?
So you want me to police myself because some parents are bad parents? I get it, it's your opinion to yourself is right, but to others your opinion is wrong. I'm not saying what you're saying isn't valid in a certain mind spec, but to me, that's not valid or fair. I respect the way you think, but you should also respect the way I think and see things, and so should other people.
Probably.
And if you don't respect what I say again, that's your right to do. But also, I don't talk crap about people in public like other people do. I think that's pretty respectful.
Right. Anyways, gonna end our convo here. At this point, I think he realized that Cougar was a bit of a lost cause.
Shortly after the main drama, Cougar made a community post saying that he'll be changing his content to at least have content warnings and maybe change stuff with his thumbnails. And he did, for a bit.
As of late, most of his thumbnails have actually been the tamest ever, but sometimes Cougar and Jail's Yard can't contain themselves and put some lewd thumbnails up. And no, there are no content warnings. Ever.
The thing is, his thumbnails have to be going against terms of service for YouTube. But according to him, I guess and his manager, YouTube is cool with it. And that's pretty sad.
As we mentioned before, there are many detractors of Cougar Macdowall who have made videos on him. All of them range in quality, but some of them are actually pretty good.
For example, some of them mention how he uses thumbnails that are really quite gross and how his targeting of children as his audience is kind of scummy.
Others take it a step further and say that he is a pedophile and a zoophile.
Now, I think that's slander, but I guess because it's written down, it's libel.
Now that we're done with the tea, as the kids are saying these days, time to share our thoughts on all the drama.
The versus Tabby Ma drama is pretty dumb, for multiple reasons.
It was poorly handled by both parties. That said, it's more Cougar's responsibility since he's the adult who hired them in the first place.
He should have been more on board, but the people working on the mod should have quit a long time ago if they felt they were being poorly managed.
It doesn't seem like there was any maliciousness on Cougar's part, from what I can tell, just him being lazy and expecting the director to handle things entirely.
The expose doesn't seem inherently necessary, but we do understand that they were just done with Cougar and wanted to air out all the grievances.
And his response was pretty bad and fluffed up for seemingly no reason, and in the end added basically nothing to the conversation. And in fact, he did not change any of the things he promised he would.
As far as him holding on to the rights of Tabby for dear life, I have no real opinion. Hopefully that gets settled if it's not already settled.
By the way, the Versus Tabby mod is continuing under new management, so good luck with that.
As for the opinion on his content, he is, in fact, free to do what he wants, but YouTube probably isn't the place.
He mentions it's not necessarily for kids, and that's true, but his videos are targeting subjects that kids are rather interested in, and he is either ridiculously unaware of this, or he is aware and does not care.
Now he is right, we'll give him credit for this. Parents should parent, but you really should put 18+ in the title, or something. Do the bare minimum, put it in the description, or in the beginning of your video. It's really not that hard, but instead he does nothing.
You could say he's marketing towards kid-friendly IPs, but he's not aiming at kids. But even his adult audience doesn't seem to like what he's doing, based on the comments we read earlier.
He's also proven that he doesn't need to be sus to be successful. A lot of his non-provocative thumbnails do okay, and the content itself does well enough on his channel, it could save the other questionable things for another platform entirely.
And it should be mentioned, he is not the worst comic dub or content farm, but since he's an active individual, as you know, he's known for just being Cougar Macdowall, he gets a lot more hate directed just at him.
While I would ordinarily say this is undeserved, he doesn't seem to care at all about his reputation and just continues to pump out more and more bad stuff.
And this reflects very badly on his character, and people don't like him. As far as the thumbnails go, they do go against TOS, I'm pretty sure. We checked. And I don't know what his YouTube manager advisor said, but I'm pretty sure if he just looked at the TOS and compared it to his thumbnails, he could realize, oh, this isn't good. That said, YouTube won't do anything, and it's their platform, so that's kind of on them. And he's still getting views, so somebody's watching and enjoying the content. Let's just hope it's not the kiddies.
To say something nice about Cougar Macdowall, he's a pretty good voice actor. And he's a pretty hard worker, unless of course it's the versatility mod, which case all that's out the window.
But the sheer amount of content he pumps out goes to show how much of a grind set he's got going. And as a final message to you, Cougar Macdowall, I don't know you at all, but I don't like your content, and I hope that your content becomes less sexualized.
And that it goes well for you and you can get views and stuff, and honestly, we kind of wish you the best. You know, if you change, hopefully.
And if this is Cougar Macdowall's lawyer, just know this whole video was a joke.
Shortly after we originally released this video, I mind you, it was 1.5 years ago, Cougar and his cohorts must have seen it because he started adding 18+ warnings on his videos. You'll love to see it. But soon, he stopped. I don't know why, maybe it was hurting his click-through rate, who knows.
Since then, we have occasionally checked in on his channel, such as during the K-pop Demon Hunter Slop video, and have seen that he will act normally for a while, just releasing regular, somewhat cringy, sometimes content-farmy content. But then, after a bit, he'll go psycho for a while and make a ton of gooner bait thumbnails.
Especially when it comes to trends he can milk, like when Godzilla introduced Shimu,
As she was female.
and K-pop Demon Hunters,
As they are women.
and most recently, Gameoverse.
Because well, you can probably guess.
And even during those calmer moments in Cougar Macdowall's standard video uploads, his Shorts tab was truly diabolical! I don't know if it was always this bad, but it certainly hasn't improved.
Also, I'm pretty sure recently he promoted a not safe for work artist, which is one of the things we shall investigate and double check in our part 2 video. Coming sometime soon-ish, maybe. Don't hold me to that.
But let's look on the bright side. He's also marked a couple of videos 18+. You can barely see it, but that's 1 every 10 horrible videos, haha! More on that in the update as well.
Thank you to all our wonderful channel members. Some of you have actually been watching since this video came out over a 1.5 years ago. It's crazy.
If you want to watch another video of ours that's a bit drama related, and honestly I would say is underrated, perhaps check out this video over here.
And if you want to check out another video, perhaps about a certain video game that has some interesting developments, check out this video over here.
And to see you in the next one, in the wise words of the original upload.
I'm gone! Cougar then started dabbling. For a second, I thought you misspelled dubbing. Cougar would then start dubbing in some hell of a boss.
Dabbling.
Dabbling.
You psyoped yourself in this thing he was dubbing.
Oh, you hush.